Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Deggy again, back with yet another Disney Lorcana card of the day. And today's card of the day is going to be Stitch, Carefree Surfer. Now, Stitch is an amber card. He costs 7 ink, but he is inkable, so you can place him into your inkwell. He has 4 strength, 8 willpower, and he quests for 2 lore. And he has one ability called Ohana. And it says, when you play this character, if you have 2 or more other characters in play, you may draw 2 cards. He's also a legendary. That's kind of important. He is a legendary. He's also a hero. And I do want to point out the more heroes I see. So again, we might see some synergy, with a hero deck, kind of like we see with a villain deck. What do I think about this Stitch? Well, for one, he's very good. I'll say he's a very, very good card. The fact that you are able to play him and then essentially gain 2 extra cards is really, really good. So I've seen him played in a couple decks, 2 major ones. I'll talk about 2 major ones I've seen him played in. So one is he is played in actually the Stitch Rockstar deck. Stitch Rockstar is meant to just get as many characters into play as possible. They come into play exerted, sure, but you're able to draw cards off of them. So you're going to have a lot of characters in play. But in addition, because it's also amber, those Stitch decks do play Lantern. And typically, you're going to have 1 or 2 Lanterns in play. Lantern helps reduce the cost of your other characters that you play. So while this Stitch Carefree Surfer does cost 7 ink, if you have 1 Lantern in play, now he only costs 6 ink. If you have 2 Lanterns in play, he only costs 5 ink. A 5 ink character that has 4 strength, 8 willpower, can quest for 2, and gets you 2 cards when it's played, that's pretty good. I'd even take that for 6, right? In most cases, you're probably going to pay 6 resources because you're probably going to have a Lantern into play by then. Especially if you're playing a Stitch Rockstar deck and you kind of have to mulligan to look for that early Lantern, so you could play Lantern down on your second turn with a Stitch, ideally, so you can do a turn 3 Rockstar Stitch because of the shift and how it's discounted with the Lantern. So it works very well in that type of deck because you're definitely going to have at least 2 characters in play. And then when he comes down, he's going to draw you 2 more cards, which are probably going to be characters which you could play with your Rockstar Stitch, but you're probably out of resources at that point to do it on your next turn. But either way, that's huge. That's really, really good. He's also able to challenge characters effectively with his 4 strength, which isn't bad. That's not bad. And he's able to take many, many hits because he does have 8 willpower. There's very few cards right now that can one-shot this Stitch, but as we see more cards, there might be more cards that can take him out. But right now, it's basically just Maui, the Maui card we have, and Simba, I think, are the only 2 cards that can challenge into this Stitch and take him out. The other type of deck I have seen Stitch played in is a Sapphire Amber deck, where the whole goal is to ramp as much as possible in order to get this Stitch out. And it actually works pretty well because if your opponent is playing Detective Mickey and they'll play like 1 or 2 Detective Mickeys, well, they're not really a threat. So most people will just ignore those Mickey Mouses and just quest or do other things with their characters. If your opponent has played 2 Mickey Mouses, they're just sitting in the field. Well, now this Stitch will come down, sees those 2 Mickey Mouses, and draws 2 extra cards. And plus, he's huge. It refills your hand. The Sapphire Amber deck has a lot of resources in play now, and now they can play characters like Scar. They can play more Stitches. They can play Stitch Rockstar if they wanted to. He does quest for 3 lore, so that's not terrible. But there's just a lot of options that they can do. He actually works really well in that type of deck. Just try to ramp, get more resources into play as much as possible, play this Stitch, get more cards, and it's just a huge profit, right? It works very well. He's a very, very good card. The only thing I'm worried about is that he's legendary. And I don't know how easy or hard it's going to be to get legendary cards. If you get a booster box, you might only get a couple legendaries in that box. And we've seen a few legendaries so far. I mean, Monstrous Dragon Maleficent, this Stitch, the Emerald Beast, Brave Little Tailor Mickey Mouse, of course, and Gontu. And those are all just, they're one per color. So we haven't seen the Amethyst super rare yet. If we might only have, say, 2 super rares per color. So the problem with him being a legendary is you don't know how many copies, of him you're going to be able to obtain. Who knows how hard it's going to be? Who knows how easy? Maybe legendaries are going to be really expensive. Maybe they're not going to be expensive. Maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. Who knows, right? But he is a very, very good card. He's very, very good. I would give him probably, as like a rating wise, a solid 8, maybe even a 9 out of 10, especially if you have 2 or more characters in play. Just being able to draw extra cards is just great. He really doesn't have too much of a downside. Yeah, if you don't have characters in play, then you don't get the extra cards, which is his main deal. I get that. But he still can come down and quest for 2 lore with an 8 willpower body. He's not going anywhere. He's going to stick on the field for a while. He's a big boy. Yeah, I mean, the 7 resources is a little rough, but if you're playing Amber, you're probably playing Lantern, so he is going to be a little bit discounted. And also, if you're playing some sort of ramp deck, it gets him out sooner, it's not bad. But he is a very good card. Absolutely very good. If you're play testing out there, you're playing some games, and you want to play Amber, play the Stitch, right? Just put him in there. There was a period of time where when I was playtesting decks, I wasn't really using the super rares because I was like, how often am I going to have like 4 copies of the super rare card? I don't know if this is feasible. However, we only have about half the set. So play all the cards you can. That's my thing. Play with them all. Who knows what can happen? You might get them, you might not. Every pack does have a foil card. So it's very possible you could open a super rare card or a legendary card in a pack, and then the foil slot is actually another legendary card. That's very possible. I'm sure it's going to happen. So that's 2 copies right there. Stitch is a good card. He's just very, very good. If you plan on playing a lot of characters, or you can keep your characters safe, or you can get him into play sooner, you should play him. He's very, very good. Solid 8 out of 10. Possibly even, a 9 out of 10 card. More likely a 9 out of 10. He is absolutely he's fantastic. He's a very, very good card. The card advantage is great. His ability to gain lore is great. 8 willpower means he's not going anywhere, and his 4 strength just means he can probably challenge a lot of characters and banish them. So, good card. I'm definitely going to be looking out for Stitch Carefree Surfer, when I get my cards for the set. But hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You stay safe out there, make good decisions, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.